born in London, but she's English, Italian, and Japanese is her nationality. I knew Japanese was a big part of it. I didn't know it was other stuff too.
Mm,
Italian makes
yeah.
sense.
Mm. The more you know, you learn something new every day, don't you?
Yes, sir.
You know what I've learned?
Mhm. What did
That
you
the red
learn?
light is on.
That the red line is on.
The
You
red
have
light.
figured it out.
Ooh, buddy, it's time.
You heard that from the sex man, brother guy, the sex man. And we, gentlemen, are clearly, most potently, on this road to WrestleMania. And we are half step away from Elimination Chamber, but we are taking a pit stop. It's because we have to discuss the future. We are here to talk about where the business is headed. It's because there's a lot of action going on right now. A lot of people making their points to be proven correctly. And we're going to talk about today everything developmental, if that's what you want to call it. NXT with the main event of tonight's show.
Oh,
we
no.
have a new. What happened?
Nah, keep going. I just realized it was only on one platform.
Oh,
We still rolling.
okay. Ricky Starks has officially called his shot in NXT.
Who?
And not only did he call a shot, he has debuted a new name
Who?
and more. We have to get into the state of NXT. We have to get into legends and future greats. We have to get into this TNA partnership. We have to get into WWE Evolve. We have to get into WWE ID debuting new championships. There's a lot going on. We're going to talk about all that and more because we have to discuss the future of the industry. And we're going to do that right about now. Let's get it.
Houston, we have a problem.
Welcome to the Wrestling Realm Now podcast, where we take a deeper dive into the world of professional wrestling. Now, I am your host, the realness himself, Mr. TRDA, the real Dwayne Allen, in the building tonight, and he is your host, the producer, brother Hugh has a third, and today to the S, T to the C to the E, T to the R, to the D, in the building. What's up, Gaps? And he is your host, not just any guy, but the belt guy, Brandon, the guy, the creator and curator of championship culture. He's your host in the building tonight. And he is your host, the man, the myth, the legend, the creator, the founder of the Wrestling Realm. And once again, in 2025, still to this day, Mr. Steal Your Goddamn Show. Watch out! Hollywood! Brian H. Waters, string it in, man, in the building. A heel will always be a heel. And welcome to another episode, of the Wrestling Realm Now podcast. Now, this episode is going to be a slight change from what we usually do. But trust me, all the fun things that we do will be here live and full effect because we are talking about the future. We have got to discuss where the business is headed, where it is right now, and potentially where it could possibly be going, because there's a lot of things going on as we continue on this road to WrestleMania. But we're not going to waste any time. It's because everybody knows around this time of the show, we have to recap. We have to go over the latest, the greatest, the newest show to the wrestling community that embodies everything championship related. Can you guess what it is I'm referring to? No guesses? Okay, listen to the intro. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Championship Culture. Every Tuesday at 8 p.m., you can find Championship Culture on youtube.com/The Wrestling Run, where you can find Brandon the Guy, the Belt King, and Super Producer has the third as they cultivate, as they break down, as they unbox in some situations, everything Championship Culture related. So, without further ado, for those that may not be familiar with how this train rolls, every week, if there's a show on Tuesday, we got to recap it on Wednesday. And guess what? Today is Wednesday because you're watching us and you know that this is the Wrestling Rum Now podcast. So now we have to get into the latest episode of Championship Culture, well into season 3. But Brother Guy, would you like to argue with Brother Hugh about who's going to go first? You can go first, Gump.
Go ahead, say it. What you want to say? Go ahead, I'm gonna let him go. Let me adjust my hat. Hold on, let me put my hat on for you. Hold on, let me do my hair. Yeah, go ahead. I'm cool. No, just go ahead. It's cool.
There you go with all that. Now just go ahead and tell them what the show is about, because I'm too smooth, Brother Hugh. Yeah.
Okay, Brother Hugh. Okay. I mean, Brother Guy, apparently the ball's in your court. Brother Hugh made it very clear that he would like you to go first.
I got it from here. All I'm gonna say about this, man, oh man, Brother Realness. I said it. You were kind of right, but you were kind of wrong too.
I was close.
You were so close, and it hurt my heart that you didn't guess it, because when I tell you TV does this no justice, all I'm gonna tell you is this: if this don't tell you that this is probably one of the best made belts and best looking belts in WWE right now, and I'm just saying because I have it in my possession, I don't have the World Heavyweight Championship yet. But man, this thing, I can't stop looking at it. Yeah. But I will tell you this. This is probably in my top 5 of tag teams now. It actually moved, but I'm just going to tell you this. If you want to see some in-depth look on this, you got to go to 2 different shows. One show is yesterday, the unboxing of this. But back in season 2, when it debuted, NBD stands for New Belt Day. In the belt community, this is a thing. Whenever you get a new belt, you do hashtag, you show this, you talk about it. So that's what I did yesterday, and that's what Championship Culture was about. Look at this belt design, not necessarily the history, but just the look of it and the appreciation for a good looking belt, a good looking strap, and as he would say, just the tip. But go back to season 2 of Championship Culture. We did a show with Realness called Tag Team Tuesday, where we talked about this belt, its lineage, what it derived from, how we got to where we are now, and hit on some things. But this show yesterday, man, every Realness, just look there. That's all I'm
trust me, it's all in the notes. I got it. I'm just gonna wait.
Okay. Yeah, when I tell you I thought that this belt, and I know Hollywood is probably going to agree, was a great looking belt. From WWE, during the Triple H era.
You love that NXT UK Tag Team Championship.
But listen, I can put this to the side now. I'm sorry. Wow. This is still, yeah. So, with that being said, I'm gonna just let this sit here for a little bit so people can see it, because
Stephanie Hardy style.
Yeah. No, she held it. Remember, she held it up. I'm just gonna let it rest on my shoulder. I'm just let it rest here, because I think we have to put it in the show now.
I don't know. We got Brother Hugh. How do you feel about this belt?
You already know what it is. It's all about the tip. You feel me? Championship culture. That's what we do. The guy got the championships, and the details are impeccable, irresistibly impeccable. And we here for. We want to hear what's up with the notes. We're gonna hear the notes. So, Brother Ritter, go and take it away.
Thanks, Brother Hugh. I appreciate that, good brother. Always insightful. So, for those that, once again, you may not figure out how we do things around here, if I cannot be a part of Championship Culture on Tuesdays, I do due diligence, because guess what? I take notes and I bring those notes to the show the next day, because guess what, ladies and gentlemen? I've got notes. Hear that, Brian H? I've got notes. Sorry, Brian H. He's had a long day, ladies and gentlemen.
I just told you about all the audio, and this is okay.
I apologize. That was, you know what? I apologize. That was very insensitive. You just told me before the thing. Sorry. My apologies, Brian H. But I do indeed have notes. So, of course, like Brother Guy said, NBD, New Belt Day. In all fairness, if I would have saw the complete shape of the championship maybe 2 weeks ago when this belt was teased on the podcast, I probably would have had a better shot of guessing which one it was. But I missed out. But nonetheless, it is the new World Tag Team Championships, most famously on the Raw brand right now, held by the War Raiders. Unbelievable. When you look at the detail of what they're doing with the championships, the uniqueness, the feel of it, man, it's nothing short than amazing. I am floored when I see the detail of not only the championships that we see on TV, but what they are giving the fans in replica form. That is unreal. And I once again, I can't help but think about Triple H trying to stick it to the rest of the world, saying, now, if you want to go ahead and try to replicate what we're doing, then you better go to the source and do it better than us. But all the details, from the straps all the way to the plating, the dual plating is ridiculous, and the details onto the tips. That's for you, Brother Hugh. It's unreal. Are you going to get two of them, brother Guy, or are you just going to stick with the one? Have one
I'm
representative.
gonna stick with the one. I'm gonna stick with, because the only time I get a second tag team belt if it's a different belt. So like the first NXT belts, because they were two different belts, that's why I had both of them. So if the tag team belts are exactly the same, I only get one.
Okay, well that makes sense. Well, now here's the bad news. You picked a terrible time to unbox the tag team championship, because like I said last week, I am boycotting all WWE tag team activity. So here's that.
So I would say one more thing that you forgot in realness, and I'm surprised you haven't picked it out, because you being a belt guy, what I've noticed with WWE, back in the early days, they used to be 2mm, 4mm, right?
Yes.
Now sometimes they'll list a belt as 6 or 8mm, but because of the shape of it, it doesn't go from the base. It's usually at the height of it. And this belt, I don't know if you can tell from the show, it has layers, not necessarily stacked, but raised on it, which is something that's going to be so hard to not only duplicate, but I think that's what adds to the character of the belt, because even on the side plates, the floor pattern on the side is raised off of the base plate. So it's not necessarily stacked. It's a whole different dimension of it, kind of like how the U.S. title has that the highest point. I think it's like 10mm, but it's not actually a 10mm. It's that's how it stacks from there. Even with the IC, well, I think it's like 8 at its height. But I think that they're doing an amazing job with these belts, because they're giving them such a unique look and a unique feel to every title that it's like, oh man, this is. I haven't stopped looking at it. When I opened it, I was like, I can't stop looking at this belt. It's just amazing to the eye. And I think that's why we probably won't see anything less than a $314 price. Whereas we usually see $299, $279 now. The older belts that are on sale, yes. But I think $314 is going to be the norm for the lowest that a belt like the newer belts would go to. I don't think we're ever going to see these at a $200 price point anymore, because it's worth every penny of it.
And it's funny you mentioned that, Brother Guy. It almost like they're trying to reset the market, right? Like championship belts creation was pretty cut and dry. Plates, belts, straps, and then details in between. And then that was the competition, versus now they're almost like resetting the tone in which, hey, this is how we're going to start producing championships, and this is how the market's going to go from now on. So it's almost like they're trying to change the game almost, and it's just like it's unbelievable to see what they're doing. No pun intended, Triple H. But if you want to see the full unboxing and all the details on of this new World Tag Team Championship, head over once again to our YouTube channel, Playlist Championship Culture, under Season 3, and it is New Belt Day. It's the unveiling of that beautiful, beautiful World Tag Team Championship, even though I will not be supporting any tag team wrestling no time soon in WWE. Isn't that right, good brothers? Yep. And there it is.
That's the hill you choose to die on?
Today it is. So, so yeah, there's that. Brother Hugh, how do you feel about it?
Yeah, man, that's what it is. Out of championship culture on Instagram. Championship culture _IG, baby. You know what it is. Realness, take it away.
Thank you, Brother Hugh. Appreciate it. Well, this is Black History Month. And no matter what anybody says, we will continue to acknowledge the pioneers and those who have paved the way, people of color who have who set the groundwork and did some amazing and groundbreaking things for our industry. So we are on week 3, and this week it shall be no different. Are you brothers ready for this week's Black History Month Spotlight here on the
Oh, I
Wrestling?
can't wait.
Oh boy,
yeah.
here we go. You hear that? Who is this most Black History Month Spotlight is? Any guesses? No?
A friend of the program. It's a friend of the program.
Maybe so.
By
Maybe he
release.
is, maybe he isn't. I don't know. But this week's Black History Month Spotlight, the rest of the realm, is none other than 2-time Hall of Famer, the Big Cat, Ernie
Yes,
Ladd.
sir. Yes, sir.
And then like everybody's grandfather from the 70s. Big Cat Ernie Ladd.
Look like Lawrence Fishburne too.
Done it?
He definitely did.
If they ever do a movie of him, he should play him. He is a former defensive star, a former star defensive lineman and professional football player in the late 1950s and 60s. Big Cat Ernie Ladd started wrestling in 1961. As a professional wrestler, Big Cat Ernie Ladd became one of the top heels in the business. For the majority of his career, he played a villainous character who would arrogantly taunt both opponents and crowds. The Big Cat, Ernie Ladd, made his way to the Worldwide Wrestling Federation, WWE, in 1968, and the company will become his home base for the next decade. Managed by the great Grand Wizard, he was a persistent challenger to Worldwide Wrestling Federation champions Bruno Sammartino, Pedro Morales, and Bob Backlund, although he never won a title. Ladd also feuded with many popular wrestlers of the time, including Wahoo McDaniel, Andre the Giant, Bobo Brazil, American Dream Dusty Rhodes Daddy, and Mr. Wrestling, Haystacks Calhouns, and especially Gorilla Monsoon. And he even had a heel-to-heel feud with professional Toru Tanaka. If you don't know who that is, just watch Three Ninjas. After leaving the WWF, Ladd ventured to the Mid-South territory, promoted by Bill Watts. While there, Ladd feuded with Paul Orndorff, Ray Candy, and the Junkyard Dog. He also served as a manager to Afa and Sika, the Wild Samoans. Ladd also had a decent run as a part of tag team with Bad Leroy Brown in the early 1980s. Ladd also assisted Bill Watts as a booker behind the scenes and had a large part in the development of Sylvester Ritter as the area's top draw before retiring from the ring in 1986, also known as Junkyard Dog. He was inducted into WCW's Hall of Fame in 1994, and then the following WWE Hall of Fame in the class of 1995, becoming the first, and for several years, the only one inducted into both Hall of Fames. So, ladies and gentlemen, I give to you our Black History Month Spotlight of the week, the Big Cats, Ernie Ladd. Good brothers. Did you learn something new? Something new?
I want to add to, like, from a personal standpoint, my first time hearing about the Big Cat Ernie Ladd, I always talk about my famous 5 tapes I had. Well,
Go ahead and break it down.
At one point, it was a 6 tape added to that, but I recorded it. No, I gave it back to my uncle. I don't know why I did such a thing, but it was the King of the Ring 1995. And during that King of the Ring, they had that was when they did the Hall of Fame. And that's when I found out they showed, when they used to do it in a little like banquet hall.
Yeah, I said the hotel ballrooms.
Yeah, and that's when I first found out about the Big Cat Ernie Ladd. And I was like, oh, okay, so and what was I, probably 8? But I just thought like he had a good look. I thought he was cool. And then, obviously doing my research as I got older and learning, the potential money that him and Junkyard Dog could have drew even more, at times was different. But yeah, man, definitely learned something new. I didn't realize he was the only inductee in first inductee in both Hall of Fames.
Yeah, for the longest time he was the only one. But definitely they said he made almost like $98,000 his first year in professional wrestling. So trust me, that brother was a moneymaker. My first time hearing about
he
Big
was
Cat
always.
Ladd.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, and I'm saying something else that a lot of people don't realize about him. he was instrumental, and I want to say he was a decorated champion because they could be underplaying it. But within the NWA territories, he didn't go to a territory and not win a championship. He didn't
Mhm.
wasn't in that territory long without holding the title. And one of the belts that he was famously known with was that NWA American Heavyweight Championship that kind of has that um, European slash United States title field with the pillars on the side. That belt,
Mhm.
Mhm.
that's the one that you famously see on him because that was the biggest NWA at the time. But
Right.
he's held titles in every territory he went to during the territory time. So 98,000, I can believe that because that man was everywhere.
Yeah, shout out to Big Cat Ernie Ladd once again. We want to applaud all of our Black History Month spotlights. So he is no different. Black History Month, still alive and in living color. So
I
Now-
just hope we be good to Black History doing our unpopular opinions today.
well, I'm glad you brought that up, Brad Nation, because so much for the positivity. Now we go to the negativity. I know it's a contrast of things, but this, unfortunately, this week it is our unpopular opinion segments. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. We do a segment. We alternate between Wrestling Realm Facts and Unpopular Opinion, and this happens to be our Unpopular Opinion week, so that the fans and those who are listening to our show can have a better idea of who they're listening to, so they can know us better as wrestling fans. And guess what? There's no better way than to give you a few facts, and in some situations, like this week, unpopular opinions. So here we go. Good brothers. Are you guys ready for this week's unpopular opinion segment?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, does anybody want to go first, or should we make Brother Hugh go first?
Yeah, man. Yeah,
Brother Hugh.
let Brother Hugh go first.
Okay,
Yeah,
Brother
I was
Hugh.
gonna say, let him go for it.
What's up, baby? What's up?
Here we go. You are on the clock. Official. Give us your unpopular opinion for this week. Drum roll, please.
The tips are more important than the main plates on championships. I said it.
Okay.
Hey yo. Hey
I said,
yo.
I said what I said.
Okay. All right, Brother Hugh.
Oh, did
All right. There it is. You got it. Brother Hugh thinks that the tips on the championship belt are more important than the main plates. That's a very championship culture way of doing things. But nonetheless,
Definitely is.
nonetheless, you know how this goes. We cannot argue. If that's his unpopular opinion, then so be it. Who's next? Brother Guy, Brian H., or you guys want me to go next?
You always
You
go
usually
last. Why
go
don't you
last.
next?
Won't you- yeah.
Okay, no problem.
Next.
I got no problem because I've been pretty fired up ever since last week since my boys got
Uh-oh.
cut.
Oh.
That's right. But
Yeah.
no, don't be scared. Don't be scared.
Here it
But
comes.
here it is. This is the real. This is unpopular opinion for the week. Once again, drum roll, please. WWE has not produced anything on Netflix closely or remotely as fun as WCW Monday Nitro in 1998. There you have it.
What?
Yeah. Think about it. Think about it.
He said fun.
Think about it.
He said fun for a reason.
Fun.
Okay.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
I don't know.
Chew on that like beef jerky. Snap it to a Slim Jim. Brian H.
Yeah.
Are you ready to go next?
Sure.
LA Knight agrees you should go next.
I have two.
Okay, that's fine. It's your goddamn show. You can have two if you want. You
But,
ready for this? I'll go ahead.
I
Preface,
said be
let
nice
the
to
world
Black
know.
History Month, but
You
I'm
did say
not.
You definitely told me that the other day. You said, "Come on, brother, it's Black History."
And my
Oh,
unpopular opinion is that we did not need the Dudley Boys in anything that involved Edge and Christian and the Hardys.
Oh boy, you just chose war today. It's okay.
They're mid at best.
Mm.
Hollywood.
It's full effect. I'm gonna leave that one alone. Oh boy. Oh boy.
It just goes
Oh.
right with the show. So
Like sizzling right now. That's where I'm at. Brother Guy, you are on the hot seat. What is your unpopular opinion for this week? Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, here we go. I don't know if brother got. He doesn't look too okay after that last tape that Brian H made, but it's okay though. Drum roll, please.
Triple H is better in a suit than he is in wrestling boots.
Oh.
Whoa! Whoa!
Oh my God! Ow! Whoo. Hold on, I tripped.
He ain't lying.
Oh man!
And if y'all
Oh,
get the
geez.
reference, what I'm saying.
Whew, wow. Well, I don't know what to say. Well,
I know what to say. There's a whole lot of unpopular opinions out here, man. This is crazy.
brother, you.
And just so you clear, when I say this, the COO Triple H is better than an in-ring competitor.
We know what you're saying.
Yeah.
You
I
don't
just want
gotta
to make sure
explain
nobody has
yourself.
no confusion.
It's getting written
I
the
just wanna make
same
sure.
way you just said it for the graphic.
Yep. Because so everybody can understand where I'm coming from.
Brandon said, "No, we hear what you're
Because
saying.
that ties into tonight. Trust me.
It does tie in tonight. So, we got to move forward. It was such positivity talking about the big cat Ernie lad, but I can see where this is going. That is it, ladies and gentlemen. That is an unpopular opinion for this week. If you're in the chat or you're watching the show, please give us your unpopular opinions. Put your unpopular opinions in the chat. Put them in the comments, and we will definitely address them. Thank you for being a part of the conversation. Next week, we will go back to a more peaceful segment. Wrestling Room Facts.
I mean, we got Brother Hugh talking about the tip, so
I mean, it's just
It's always about the tip, brother.
okay.
You go.
Hey, don't
All right,
be a
well.
gum. That was the thing. That's right. I like the tips. I like all
So-
the tips. Full tips.
Oof. Well, there you have it. Those are an unpopular opinion segment for this week. That's always I don't even know what to call it. Like, I want to say it's a crowd favorite, but it's cringy as AF. But we are going to move on
You look at
because
your other one. I'm saving that
No.
one.
I was going to give one and it was a lot lighter than what I said, but I got pissed off. So I blame you guys.
So wait, what did you say? How did you word this again?
No, you
WWE
yeah.
Yeah, WWE is
W-
not
Raw on Netflix has not produced anything nearly as fun
okay.
as anything from WCW Monday Nitro in 1998.
He said 1998 for a reason.
Yeah, so go ahead and go say. I
Have
know,
fun.
I know he's putting the graphic together. So go ahead and piece it however you need to piece it, Mr. Producer Man. It's just not. I'm watching. I'm like, all right, it looks good, but I'm like, bro, I'm missing that feeling of fun all of a sudden. Anyways, we're not here to talk about that. We are here to talk about the future. So I believe it's time for us to get this show started because we're here to talk about NXT. We're here to talk about the state of NXT. We're here to talk about the partnership between TNA and WWE/NXT. We are here to talk about legends and future greats. We are here to talk about WWE Evolve. We are here to talk about WWE ID championships. We are here to talk about Ricky Saints, formerly known as Ricky Starks, showing up in NXT, and can he finally make his mark in the industry? We're going to get to all that and more, but in order for us to get to that, we have officially had to start the show. So we're going to ask our co-hosts, Apollo Creed, and Rocky Balboa. Good gentlemen, can you help us ring the bell so we can start this show?
Want to ring the bell? Ding, ding.
There you have it. The bell is rung. It is time to get into the nitty-gritty of what we are here to talk about today. Good brothers. Now, we are on our way to Elimination Chamber, and there's a lot going on because ultimately we are on this exciting road to WrestleMania, which is as confusing as it's ever been, but it's okay. We've learned to adjust. But we're here to talk about the future. NXT, the state of NXT. Where are we? We got free agents popping up. We have new signees. We have Jordan Grace. We have Julia. We have Stephanie Vaquer. We have Moose showing up. We got Obafemi as champion. We got the Hardys coming next week. We got Lexus King challenging for the X Division Championship. I just learned the difference between a performance center contract and an NXT contract. Yes, they're different. There's a lot we have to talk about. But they're going to shape everything that we're going to see in the future. And this may affect WrestleMania one day. So it's important to talk about all the great things that are going on in NXT right now. In that just entire developmental space, brothers, where do we stand right now? What do we think of NXT? What do we think of what they call developmental? What do we think of the breeding and the creating and the generating of new and future stars in this business? Where do we stand?
Oh man, it's fun. I was at Vengeance Day Saturday night in Washington D.C., and you could just feel the energy in the building, right? Um, before the match, before the world title match, the men's world title match, I said that the matchup with Obafemi going against Austin Theory and Grayson Waller reminded me, just the matchup reminded me of Braun Strowman versus Miz and Morrison. But I was way more entertained with their match and just the storytelling. And then boom, out of nowhere, here comes these new Shield guys or whatever who chose
What's that about?
violence. Huh?
It definitely chose violence. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean they had on black forces, you know, and you don't want to wear black force energy is the thing.
Should have known.
So that was one thing. And then the women. I mean, you could just look at Bailey, just the look she had, like, yeah, and for her to fly across the country from San Francisco, where she was playing in a basketball all celebrity all-star game, and then coming all the way, literally all the way across the country to Washington, DC, to play with the girls, to play, you know, play in the sandbox with, you said it, future greats or current greats, in my opinion. And it just goes to show you the business is in the right place. Like, yeah, they were in the typical, as I would call it, the indie pay-per-view arena style size, same size that AEW runs their Dynamite shows in. But it was still like that intimate feel, right? And it was kind of like going indie without going indie. And like I said, just the energy in the building was phenomenal. And even, you know, for a lot of us who did back-to-back nights, you could still see like, okay, it was still a different type of wrestling. So you're still getting that, but you also still get your sports entertainment fix.
It's a good point, brother guy. Now you're the one. You have gone to bat to prove that NXT is officially a third brand. But guess what? I think you might be onto something, because guess what? Developmental just got its own developmental. So with that being said, where do you stand when it comes to the state of NXT currently? Where we are, where we're headed, where we're trying to go?
So one thing that I think we got to start looking at, because I noticed it this week, when Triple H has those in between times, he allows NXT to fill those spaces and draw our attention to that,
Facts.
because we're in that in between time right now, and he's making it to the point that NXT is a big deal, and it's going to be a big deal when we want you to pay attention to it. Because right now, when Ricky starts, we heard about all the noise he was making leaving AEW. Now to see that he showed up, didn't say his name, but they let the internet tell the story, and then like, oh, he's going to sign his contract. Everybody tuned in. Now he has a match, but not only does he have a match, look what else happened. Focus on this so I can get you to tune in next week until I start heating back up Raw, SmackDown. So it's literally just making it so it's in a right space that it's going to give you the consistent product, but it's going to give you consistent product that you can get behind and casually watch it or religiously watch it. So a point that it's even making these stars, and I don't want to say making them, they're showing that it's not a bar, like we're not raising the bar. We're saying this is the standard for wrestling and entertainment. And that's what I think NXT has found, that perfect balance of what the standard looks like. And it's going to be scary to see that now NXT got its own NXT, but it's going to
Bro,
be on Tubi. Everybody can get involved. There's going to
bro,
be not one. Look at the Super Bowl. They had the Super Bowl on Tubi. How many more millions of people watched it because everybody could get it at
I
any
was so
time?
confused, brother guy. I said, is
Like
this a
this,
misprint? I said, why is the Super Bowl on Tubi? Tubi's taking over
right?
the world.
But think about it. Now you got spaces where you can have it on streaming services of Netflix. You got it on
Mhm.
cable TV for USA Network. You got
Yep.
it on CW, which is
Broadcast.
available for just having basic TV. Then you now telling me I can have an app on my phone, my iPad, any device, and watch a wrestling program when you know the way that Triple H is doing it. You never know who's going to show up. But also now I got a Legend Future Greats, a reality show. I have 5 different spaces that I can invite people to digest and consume. So NXT is in a great place, and I think this week showed because think about it, we're talking about NXT and not what happened on Raw or what happened on SmackDown last week because we're invested
Bingo.
in look at this brand, look what they're doing. These are some great things that's happening. So and
Okay.
I think that they are in a good space that
Mhm.
it's going to keep going. It's going to keep pulling you in.
Wow. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. When you look at the nature of the business and what's going on, I'm like, yo, they're literally everywhere. Like they're literally every freaking where. Move, Bubba. Daddy's talking about wrestling,
And
and
they're
I'm
actually
like,
bringing people to them. Like it's, I think that Triple H is going to make it to the point that I need you, not I need the people, because he's bringing everybody to the product, right? As in
mhm,
crossover appeal superstars are coming in. It's going to be a thing where it's going to be a request. We need this person here. We need, hey, can we get some WWE stars here? Because you know how people will show up places because that's what they want to do. It's going to
mhm,
probably feel like a big deal that Bailey's in the NBA All Star game. Who would have thought a few years ago that would be even thing?
right,
Mhm.
facts. It's a big deal. And it's something that I'm like, we got to start at the beginning. You talked about a show like Legends of Future Greats. It comes on AEW. AEW has a block called the Superstar Saturday Sunday nights, and they have the two
A&E,
WWE
bro.
A&E. What did I say? What did I say?
AEW.
He's an AEW.
AEW. My fault. A&E.
It comes out AEW.
A&E. It comes on A&E Superstar Sundays, and they have the two shows, and of course, Legends of Future Greats is one of those shows. And you talk
Mhm.
about the foundation of where this whole thing begins. Now, Legends of Future Greats is a show that is very similar to what we've seen before. We've seen it with Tough Enough. We've seen it with the I forgot what they called the show last year they did on Roku, where they pretty
Mhm.
much take it. But Legends of Future Greats is a show where they take contracted athletes from the performance center. It's because I learned today that a contract with the performance center is not the same as an NXT contract. So they take the top performers of the performance center and they're putting them in this tough enough style competition with these legends, with Mickey James, Bubba Ray Dudley, The Undertaker, Booker T, of course Shawn Michaels, and a number of other superstars will make their appearances to contribute to the show. Now it's tough for me to watch this show because everybody knows I should have been a wrestler, and I'm watching people cut promos, and I'm like, I could do such a better job.
You
But
still got
it's
time, DDP.
bro, I don't think I missed the mark yet, but I'm not a gym guy. Like to get myself in the type of shape that I would have to be successful, it's just not going to happen. So I'm unfortunately forced to live through the lens of watching other people achieve their dreams. But when you look at the foundation of a show like this, it shows the ins and outs of what they're trying to do and what they're looking for in creating a superstar. It brings us to the following. NXT is all of a sudden a big deal. Like there's a lead up. When you look at stuff like this, you realize there's levels to everything. And like, so they see these athletes and they say, oh, this kid's got something. But then after a while, it's not good enough. You got to figure out, hey, you got to develop, you got to grow. And there's always a new class of people coming in. But have you guys even taken a look at Legends of Future Greats? Now it comes on A&E.
Yep.
And if you miss it, here's how they trick you. They tell you, if you don't see it, go to the A&E app and you can watch it the next day. So of course they got me and I downloaded the A&E app. And of course, there's plenty of shows that's available for me on A&E. So now I have an A&E app on my iPad because if I can't watch it on Sundays on TV, I go back and watch it on the app. But what do you guys think about this structure as far as just always bringing back this tough enough style content just for the WWE fans? Because Shawn Michaels says at the beginning of this show, hey, we're going to do something we're not used to doing. We're going to pull back the curtain a little bit. And we're going to let the world end into what it takes for transitioning athletes to become WWE superstars.
Oh, it's good, man. It's perfect. It's a great reality show. I like it better because it's less gimmicky. You know, when you look at a show like Tough Enough, and obviously we're still in the beginning, but Tough Enough was about them living in the house together.
It was the reality show era of the 90s.
Definitely, yeah, 2000s.
2000s, yeah.
And very MTV-ish, where
Bingo.
this is like wrestling based. I mean, you got The Undertaker, you got Mickey James, you got Booker T, and you got him up there.
he hates him, brother guy. He would not mention his name. He's got heat.
Bully Ray. But yeah, you know, and like I said, you got all of them, right? And it gives them an opportunity to showcase like what's happening in that performance center, but also giving us a look at like you said, who are the future greats. And I keep forgetting her name every time I go to talk about her, but the black girl, I'm sold on her. You know, who wrestled the match.
I forgot her name just that fast.
Yeah, you know, because the women's match was better than the men's.
Are you referring to the Olympic gold medal winner?
Yes, the Olympic gold medal winner. But let me see, Olympic gold medal winner on WWE LFG.
There it is. Thank you, Dr. J. Merritt. Tyra May Steele. That is
yes. How could I forget? But she was amazing.
Look at you, producer guy.
Just the way that she, you know, the charisma. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But then even like her opponent. But it was also fun seeing kind of cut promos and stuff.
It's my favorite part.
Yeah, so that's what's exciting. I'm very interested to see, because, you know, we saw the clip of Gunther going down there and, you know, he made the Barbie comment and then Tiffany Stratton said something about it on X because she didn't appreciate it. Now, I'd like to see if her boyfriend will step to Gunther, you know, it's like the whole,
you might just let it go.
You know, the bros before, y'all know the rest. But in all seriousness, I'm interested to see what they got to say. You know what I mean? Because the legends, they had a way of doing things. It's been 2 generations removed. Yeah, Booker T is still wrestling, but this isn't his era. He's not he's not in the Punk, the Rollins, I should say, the Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns era, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he's not in the now. He's in the era before that, and before that, the Attitude era, the Ruthless Aggression era. So I'm interested to see that reality renaissance, current Netflix era. I'm interested to see the PG, I should say, the PG Renaissance era. See somebody who represents those eras come down there. But overall, I mean, when you got Undertaker there, that just goes to show you.
That's a big deal.
This guy didn't never say nothing. He was never, not say he wasn't around, but he didn't do stuff like this.
They've never had a star of that caliber on the show.
Double H. He's not Tough Enough.
He wasn't like a coach on Tough Enough though.
Okay, a coach, right. Well, yeah,
like the closest you had was no, I mean, I'll even say Stone Cold Steve Austin when he hosted it. Remember when he was the host of the show?
Okay, was he? All right, see, and that wasn't.
That's what I'm saying. Like he wasn't really a coach. He was just kind of the host of the show.
Right.
So to me, that was the closest thing. But this is a guy that's like, hey, he's a coach. He's in the competition. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's a big deal.
It's some people's GOAT. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think you could make an argument probably on that list as far as like overall GOAT. Mickey's going to be on, you know, the ladies' GOAT, but men's GOAT. Undertaker's probably the only one on that list. I don't think nobody's saying. Never mind. I'll just leave it
just take shots. Nope. No, that's cool. I know exactly what type of time you want. Brother guy, did you get a chance to take a peek at Legends of Future Greats, even if you just saw a clip of it or you saw a preview or anything? Did you get a chance to watch the show?
I've seen previews on like Instagram and what came across on YouTube, but
so give us your impressions based off the interviews.
So Tough Enough type. First off, I hate forced drama. That's why I really don't like reality shows, because when look, they're at a restaurant together because they had an argument and I throw water on your face. I don't like forced drama and all those type of things. So I've never been a fan of those type of shows. But the feel of this feels like what do I need to become a wrestler? And here's my story. So I think that it's a better space because I think this is going to be Tough Enough done right to get you vested in those characters, because that's what you really need in a wrestling promotion. You need to figure out why you care about somebody. And I think about the Damian Priest story. After I watched that on Peacock, I had a better appreciation for him. Now they're going to give it to us on the front side. But not to mention, imagine fast track, and let's just say a year or two from now, when they have clips of what they did in this or Evolve or NXT, it's going to build their library and their repertoire, and it starts here, and so you can see the rise of when that person becomes that champion, or that person headlines this, or that person does this, and why do I need to
Mhm,
care? So the clips I've seen, it seems like it's more genuine and not
Mhm.
necessarily forced. And I
mhm,
love the fact that you're going to have different perspectives. The only thing that I'm worried about is, I don't want to sound harsh, dated information to these people. And when I say dated, like y'all hit on the head, Undertaker doesn't do stuff like that. Does he have valuable knowledge? Absolutely. Does he have dated information? Yes. I hope that doesn't hinder their growth. And I'm just using it for example. Because like to Hollywood's point, they're not into that era like some of these wrestlers are. They're far removed. What they knew to get over may not be the same thing now, but they can give you the technical part of inside of the ropes.
okay. Well, listen, brother guy, if I could say you on it real quick as we continue the conversation, let me tell you the biggest
Okay.
difference between this iteration of this style of show that we've seen when they created new superstars versus what we've seen in the past. It's exactly what you said it was, exactly what Brian H said it was as well. It is it's it's no forced drama, but it's based off realistic things that's necessary to become a WWE superstar, right? So it's not like they didn't hold tryouts. They didn't just bring a bunch of people off the streets. These are people that have been actively there at the performance center for a number of different time periods. So you have some people
That's
who's been
what
there
I
for a
do
week.
love.
Yeah, some people have been there for a week. Some people have been there for 3 months. Some people have been there for a year and some change, right?
Mhm.
And it's like, okay, cool. These are the best performers right here that have a chance and the privilege to be in this competition to potentially work with these legends to help better their chances to become the next big thing in NXT. Like I said, it's levels to everything. This is just the beginning. We're not even talking about, because we used to watch Tough Enough and you win the competition, you wouldn't see them for almost a year and a half. You're like, where's Maven? Where's Nydia? And by the time they came back, you was already on your second or third season of Tough Enough. It's because they weren't realistic about the developmental process. Versus this one, they like, look, we understand that the stage is different. It's much more dialed back and it's much more realistic. So that brings us to
We would have
uh,
seen Angelo Dawkins on this a few years ago.
yeah,
We
because
being real.
if you go back and watch, I don't remember. Like I said, I don't remember what the show was called. It was like a mini series that it was kind of the prelude to this. Because there's a handful of the athletes that are on this show that were on the previous show on Roku. Um, when they did the WrestleMania tryouts and they kind of
Next gen,
documented that.
WWE
Next
Next
Gen,
Gen.
that's what it was. WWE Next Gen. Thank you, Brian H.
Mhm.
If you go back and watch that show, it was really good. It's the same thing, but it was like almost what happens before you get to this point. You know what I mean? This is almost a sequel to that type of show. So it's same concept, developmental, but it's very it's like the evolution of it. It's like the second part. And
Okay.
yeah, so
So
trust
it's
me,
not a whole bunch of our relationship, me and this wrestler, what we got. No, it's more
I
about them becoming
I think
wrestlers.
I think you will appreciate it, brother guy. It's because
Okay.
the conversations, like you said, Undertaker's not trying to help people get over, right? They're trying to give them tips about certain things that they consider maybe a lost art. Like as much as Brian can't stand the guy, Bubba Ray Dudley, he is a master class of teaching. And if you look at least three out of the four coaches on there, they're all people that have had wrestling schools that have taught this, right? So
Mhm.
Bubba Ray is at Team 3D Academy. We all know about Booker T with Reality of Wrestling, as well as Mickey James at her school. Like there's things that like I watched Bubba take the two young ladies and he talked about them locking up in the middle of the ring. He was like, see, if you guys start here and you stand here, you look short. He said, but if you guys step back and you use the whole ring and circle around and you kind of back up like rams and pounce into the lockup. And as he was describing what they've done, I was going in my head, you know what, he's right, because all my favorite lockups start like that. So it's things like that that are very meticulous that we get an inside look at.
Mhm.
Athletes
Let's give
trying
him
to
credit
transition
where
into
credit's
superstars.
due.
I know it's a touchy subject, so I don't want I don't want to speak for you, brother, but trust me, this is the beginning of what we are seeing, because now apparently NXT has their own developmental system. What the heck is going on with that? So now they have evolved. they pretty much they've worked with Evolve before, and I don't think Evolve could kind of stand on its own. So now WWE has its own place. So now, so instead of forcing somebody to go to NXT Level Up, instead of forcing them going straight to NXT, now you can go to Evolve, and that brings us to the next conversation. Belt guys, apparently there's new championships in town. They have made the announcement that now the WWE ID system, I don't know what you call it. I really don't fully understand it in the first place. All of a sudden now they have championships. So wait a minute. So first of all, look at all the belts behind Triple H as he's sitting there unveiling these new championships. You're telling me that the developmental has a developmental, and even a developmental before the developmental, they have something to compete for now? Championships, gentlemen. What's this now?
So I think when I was, because as soon as it came out, I started reading up and seeing what people are saying. So the consensus is, and Triple H pretty much said it, all of the WWE ID wrestlers will be fighting for this in the promotion that they are wrestling. So what I took it is, so he basically took NWA's format and said, we're going to do a WWE style. So so let me make it. So me and Brian, me and Hollywood are MCW wrestlers who have been ID'd. I might be the champion and he's going to challenge me. But I might go to CZW the next week and challenge Realness. Or I might go to GCW and challenge Hugh. So because we're ID wrestlers, we'll be challenging for that title. But it's going to kind of be a where's that person at? I don't think that if I'm in GCW, I'm going to wrestle a non-WWE ID wrestler for this belt. I'll probably still can wrestle, but it won't be for the championship if I'm the champion.
So my question is, first, and they got side plates, so it's going to get detailed. I got side plates. So my question is, who books these matches?
Bingo.
That's the question. Because think about it. If I'm running a promotion and you're telling me Hollywood and Realness have to fight for this title, but I already had Realness in the storyline, even though he's been ID'd, then I just have to say, oh, well, Hollywood is flying in for this match. So them two can. It's a win-win for the promotion, but I think it's going to be a nightmare for the promotion too. Because think about how much exposure, how much media, how much you basically are having a WWE show at your show.
Sure. The old New Japan thing. Remember, New Japan used to have the NWA title defended at the Tokyo Dome for Wrestle Kingdoms.
Mm-hmm.
But we're seeing
I think it's going to be a
on
good thing.
a developmental level.
But
I think the problem is
go ahead, my bad.
no. I said the only problem is going to be if you got a roster of 15, let's say for the show, the match card has 7 matches. Let's just say that, right? And only 2 of them are WWE IDs. Are they going to be? If it's not the champion, is it going to matter? That's what I think is going to be a downfall. Because why would I want to go to that? It's just going to be another wrestler on that card. You know what I'm saying? But when the champion is there, it's going to be probably a bigger deal because they're going to need footage. So I wouldn't be surprised if I'm at CZW and the camera crew is there because they need to get the footage of their championship match.
I don't even think that though. I think they'll just call it from the I don't think they're gonna send WWE cameras. Nowadays it's just somebody's cell phone footage, somebody's, I honestly, unpopular opinion, I think this is stupid. Because
talk about it. What's
we don't
stupid
need
about
more
this?
belts. What do we need more belts for? I'm sorry, brother Brandon. I know that's sacrilegious, but we don't.
We always need more belts. Tell him, brother guy.
This gets into the
one company.
this is like when they go low, you go lower. This is going into AEW territory. Why do these people need belts? They are ID prospects, right? Sign ID talent, whatever. They're not going to draw money because they're a WWE ID person. If this was 2002, 2005, maybe so, but we have so much access to wrestling and we have so much access to footage now, so easy. Like, out of all of them, Zeta Steele's my favorite one here, but I don't see people running to the box office that wasn't going to run there already. Oh, because she's a WWE prospect, I'm gonna go watch her. No, it don't work that way. Like, and so like the biggest thing, I don't want to say the biggest thing. One of the things that brother guy said, it's going to be a headache because now you're going to have insert promoter. Don't touch my this person can't lose. You know what I mean?
Well,
and being there at a time, being at WSU at a time when, just to break down the fourth wall, when Mercedes Martinez was the Shimmer World Champion, it was like, okay, but I can't lose, right? You know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah.
Can't lose. Mia Yim was the TNA. No, yeah, I think Mia Yim may have been the TNA knockouts champion at one point. It was like, well, she's not going to lose. So that's when it gets real complicated. And I just think it's just unnecessary. Let the program live for a little bit. It's only there's only 4 women's wrestlers. So you got the Lionsgate, Freelance Wrestling, Millennium Pro, and CZW. Like, yeah, like that, and it's let the program live. They want to rush and make belts. Brandon's going to buy the other belts. Give him an opportunity. Give him an opportunity. He's going to buy the belts, Paul. He's going to buy the belts, Nick. Y'all don't have to keep creating new ones.
He's definitely going to buy the belts.
And I think so the only difference is it's a belt with a purpose. I think that's what Triple H is doing because you said something that made me think. Here's the other advantage to it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's just say, we have LFG and we have Evolve.
Mm-hmm.
What if that person is the champion? Or what if that person is traveling around? Because even so, yeah, we can rely on cell phone footage, but the people in LFG got to get their time in. The production company, you have all these extra people. TKO is a what company? What is their actual thing?
Well, TKO specifically is WWE and UFC. Now, Endeavor, on the other hand,
Endeavor. What is Endeavor? That's what I'm gonna ask.
Endeavor owns every goddamn thing. They own every. When I say they are a huge holding company. They have everything in entertainment. They have sports. They have
I'm saying they're an entertainment company. So you don't think they're gonna? I feel like it's gonna be a thing where in 2026, and I'm saying because this year we're gonna be figuring it out. You're not gonna be able to go somewhere without seeing WWE. It's gonna be, how people say, "Oh,
I think you're on to something, brother guy."
Right? It's an iPhone. It's not an Apple product. It's an iPhone. Nobody says it. I feel like wrestling is gonna become WWE. You know what I'm saying? In that sense that it's gonna be a Band-Aid is the brand, but it's gotten so bad that it's like, what do you call an off-brand Band-Aid? It's still a Band-Aid. So what do you call an indie promotion?
What is it called then?
Exactly. What is an off-brand Band-Aid called?
Wow.
I'm not being. That was the only analogy I could make.
That's better than the one they usually say is Kleenex. That's actually better. What you just said.
Or Xerox. Like, can you bring me a Xerox? Talking about a copier.
Copier. Right. I feel like in 2026 we're going to be. WWE, and it's going to be wrestling, but it's going to be a thing where we're like, holy crap, it's really taking over.
They're trying to really associate everything professional wrestling with WWE because here's what I'm hearing. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm hearing almost by doing something like this, WWE is going to be forcibly having their hand in everything. Independence, developmentals, main stuff, broadcast, everything. I'm like, yo, at what point does WWE not have their hand on something? And it sounds like for the first time in a long time that's probably what they're aiming for. Now, the only thing I could possibly think of is maybe there's something more to this that they have not told us. Maybe something else that they've been quietly been moldering over. I don't know.
You know it's going to be identified as an ID next, ID school.
But that's
AEW.
Cut it out.
Oh my god!
There's no in the world.
So I have a question. Here's the other question I have.
Like they
should have left. Tony Khan should have left Shawn Michaels and Triple H alone. You said it. Once he did it, they've been.
But see, I think that what they're doing is they're not only securing their future, because think about the one thing, and I say this, and I don't know if we really fully realize it. Triple H was around to see all the good and the bad.
Yes.
It was a great thing that Vince McMahon was funneling ECW, because that's how we got some of the things we got now, right? It was a great thing that he funded Evolve, right? And then he purchased it and let it run until it ran its course because of being stretched thin. Triple H saw these things. So what's the harm? And I'm going to just use this example. What's the harm in a WWE ID person being at CZW and, hey, WWE brought them a new ring because there's an ID place, right? Or bought them a new ring skirt. It helps that promotion.
It
You know what I'm
does
saying? Or
financially.
That's a great
oh,
point.
yeah,
Because
yeah.
they
I mean,
definitely said they're
that's nothing.
pumping money into these promotions.
Right. And to think about that, now you're gonna have I'm loyal to WWE, so now you're gonna be shutting down the
And
other
guess what?
promotion because it's like, well, I
And
really
guess what?
can't go to AEW because
That's
the
old
WWE is
school.
so good to me.
And then that's how you kind of control the card.
So that
You
means we won't get
determine
no more crappy zone wrestling.
he just can't. He's on tonight.
I'm just using promotions. Or like imagine them pouring into GCW. They already got a good model, they got a good following. Imagine that WWE Triple H does on GCW. It's gonna be another brand for that type of wrestling that people can enjoy with the WWE not necessarily way, but the WWE brand attached to it. It's gonna be insane.
Yeah, I don't. This threw me off. I'm not gonna lie to you. I was like, wait a minute. I thought the idea was just to try to identify that, hey, these people are on our radar, kind of like how they do with the NIL thing. But they acknowledge college athletes, they sign them to next in line deals. Like, okay, we acknowledge you as potentially somebody we want to look at, and and then now there's these championship belts, and I'm like, what is going on? But let's talk about the space that this is all leading to. NXT. All eyes. There may be a new number 2 promotion in the world right now. And we're going to get into that because we're going to bring this home. Let's talk about the reason everybody wants to be in this space in the first place. Yes. NXT. You look at these women right now. First of all, these are all relative newcomers to the WWE audience in the WWE space in the NXT, and they are already shutting it down. Like they are constantly living up to the standards of what women have done in NXT. And god dang it, they're on the verge of surpassing it. I'm not going to hold you. The 4 horsewomen that we love, and Oscar and everyone that came out of it, they were great, right? They set the tone, right? But these women are slowly becoming superstars before they touch a main roster. Like it's we get in a different space, and then not to mention we had Rhea, we had Bianca follow up. They were the heir apparents to that, just like Carmelo Hayes was in Braun Breaker. And I'm like, yo, what is going on? That this brand, which is supposed to be, it's officially a third brand. I'm gonna call it that now. Like I was like, it's still developmental, but at this point, they found a way to sustain it in this space. The way they shoot it, the way they travel and they go to arenas sometimes, and they got a home base, and yet now their developmental system has a developmental process. It's documented through shows like Legends of Future Grace. But let's just talk about the many things that are making NXT, like before it was kind of like, oh, shun the punt. Oh, they're sending me back to development. It's demotion. It's not. Now it seems to be the place to be. They have made NXT somewhere where people attain to reach, not a place that you got to pass through to get to where you really want to go. Like people are looking to get to NXT. But let's talk about it. Let's talk about the state of what the women are doing right now in NXT that's causing this massive popularity and this new structure of how new superstars are created. You said
because here's the thing, NXT has become a destination. NXT has now become not an alternative, it's becoming a place to go.
That's a fact.
And that's the great, it's to the point that AEW was an alternative to WWE, but now it's like, well, you got WWE and NXT. Now you have, okay, do I go to NXT? Do I go to TNA, or do I go to AEW? It's almost to the point. It's like, well, I don't need to prove myself. I just need to learn the WWE way. I need to redefine something because I got the in-ring ability. I might need help with the entertainment. I might need help with my this. Or, hey, this person is great. Because if you look how they're doing it, you got Javon Evans, Ethan Page, Wesley, and now Ricky State, who a few months ago we were saying, oh, NXT lost all its big stars. But they slowly but surely showed you, no, they're still here. And you still got some people that can be cycled in, kind of like we do on Raw and SmackDown, at any time, who can be those top people. And it's insane because AEW has a problem because NXT is the other option now. It's not an alternative. It's the other. It's if I'm an independent star, yeah, I could go there or I could go there. But it's literally the other. It's not WWE. It's now NXT is another option. To the point, Jordan Grace has done NXT, but no, she's there for a reason. does the main roster need her on Raw, SmackDown? Raw can handle with her, but you know what? What can she do there that she's going to be a talking point, a figurehead, a face for it? Because remember, Julia was just in the crowd. Nobody knew who she was. Now that's all people are talking about. In a very short amount of time. WrestleMania 40, she in the crowd. Nobody knew who she was. Fast forward, look at her now. It's like,
Mhm.
how did we do that? And to call her, they have ways of doing things. A beautiful madness. That makes no sense. But when that music hit, that little people go nuts. And she
Mm-mm-mm.
has this appearance, this whole thing, like it's captivating to see what NXT can do. And it's insane because we still got other people we ain't even talk about. And
Yeah.
it's to the point now, it's in its right home to reach the right audience, but also to pull us wrestling fans into this space.
Wow. It's almost uncanny the way they strategically done this. And it seems like they did it right in front of our faces without us paying attention to it. So let's
Because
go ahead.
think about this. The fanfare that the wrestlers have come to NXT has been
Mhm.
on par, if not better, than Raw and SmackDown. The
Oof.
way that these
Is
wrestlers
that
are
true,
coming
Brian H?
in,
I'm listening. I'm listening.
Hey, keep going, keep cooking, Brian, brother
no,
guy.
I'm saying the way that they present them, when they bring them in, how they present them, it's to the point. Of, Julia first came to the ring, didn't say much, but it was like everybody was locked in. Stephanie
Presence,
Vancouver
aura.
debuted on a house show, and it was like, oh my God, who's this woman? Why do I care about her? Oh, this is why I need to care about her. And it's to the point that when certain things happen, you're like, okay, the biggest star that we seen debut on Raw was Penta recently, and look how we got that.
True.
But we've had some moments in the last year that's like, oh, this is what we're doing. Oh, this is who it is. This is great. This is what we needed. Wow, I didn't know I wanted this. This is awesome. So they're doing it better because they got to do it better and bigger. Because you go do the go across the street to AEW, you're just gonna have, oh look, they're here. Yay. Okay. But no, this is a big deal in NXT. This is changing the landscape. This is the international. They're pumping them up to make it like a big deal,
Mhm.
and it's locking you in.
Well, maybe that explains why this guy showed up to NXT. Finally, they set that man free. Free at last, free at last. Ricky Starks, no longer under AEW contract. He shows up in NXT. Doesn't say who he is, but everyone knows who he is. It's classic. You just show up and let the fans tell you who the person is. And he officially signs his contract with NXT. And he is now known as Ricky Saints. Now, there's a lot of buzz about this, about why he decided to call himself Ricky Saints. But you you got to earn your name. Don't take it personal, because when Kevin Owens became Kevin Owens, we were like, I don't know. We used to Kevin Steen. Kevin Owens stuff got to grow on us, right?
Oh, one time for us, hit your old line about Walter.
His name is Walter. I got used to calling him Walter, and then I had to start calling him Gunther. So I transitioned as well as a fan. I've had to make that transition as well. So we have Ricky Saints finally signing in NXT. Now, Brian H, here we go. This is your time, because we've had this conversation. We spoke about it last week. Should be televised, excuse me. It's because Ricky Starks is looking to make his imprint in NXT. Is this his time to do this? Can he be the draw that he believes? First of all, he's a flamethrower on the mic. I mean, no disrespect, brother guy. He eased your boy Chris Jericho really, really bad on more than one occasion. But
oh no, no. He did. Listen, I forgot how spicy his promos can be, and I was like, oh yeah, he did. He did that. He 100%. Sir, he made the list. He destroyed the list. Yes, he did. Sorry, back to you.
So we know what he can do on the microphone, but can he draw? I think he's drawing pretty good for us, because I'm looking at the numbers as we're on the show. I'm like, well, god dang, Ricky Starks, you might be onto something, kid. Can he be a big deal for NXT? Is this the beginning of this story? Because regardless of what you want to say about AEW, they've created a handful of new stars in the wrestling world, and Ricky Starks
is hand over feet one of those individuals.
Mhm.
But now he's here. Now it's put up or shut up time. We got a feud with him and Wesley. Next week, we got a sedan address. Here's a picture right here. We already got a match set. We got Ricky Saints, excuse me. See, I got to get used to it. And Wesley going toe to toe in his debut on NXT. But can he deliver? Can he be the big draw that the community says that he is capable of being? Is he the guy? Is he one of those key pillars and cornerstones of this generation of NXT?
Well, I think he can. I think before I wasn't one to say, "Oh, I see this, that, and the other."
Mhm.
So that's why I kind of like sat back and watched you make ruffle feathers, and it was the first thing I thought about when
With the community.
when Ethan Page walked out there. I said, "Oh well, here we go. It's put up or shut up time." And they had a nice back and forth jab trade. I enjoyed it. I do think this is important. He comes in at a time where the men's division, it's like you got Oba, Trick, and then there's a gap.
Ooh.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
And I think like Ethan's right there, but Ethan's kind of in that let me get some other guys ready phase. But he could easily be put back in the top echelons. Now, his Ricky Saints, he could do the same thing. This will also help elevate a Wesley because we see Wesley like trying to get there, but right now he's kind of in that like gathering a new crew, and he's also getting used to this. We're getting used to this change of attitude from him. But I think Ricky can be that top guy. I think right now, just as long as the title is around Obafemi, it just proportionately won't look right. Only person who really looks right beating him is Trick Williams, just because standing toe to toe is like, okay, he looks like take him.
It might be somebody else. Might be somebody else. We're going to talk about it.
Oh Lord. But I think I just think that Ricky Saints.
See, you got the same problem as me.
I know, and I've been saying Saints all day, but we'll get. I think within a month or two, like you said, it'll be like homeboy, Gunther. It'll be like Kevin Owens. We don't say Kevin Steen no more. We don't even rock with the old music no more.
No. Okay. What about you, brother guy? How do you feel about Ricky Saints trying to make his imprint now in NXT? It's put up or shut up time. He's here. Brian H. alluded to the fact that NXT needed an injection of familiar faces, almost new stars, if you will. Is Ricky Saints the answer to that question?
So, in the words of Brother Hugh, when he talks about a 5-tool player, right? He's gotten 2.5 of the tools already out the gate. One, he got everybody talking about him because for a week, they never said his name. Even when he was coming to the ring, they never said his name. So everybody was buzzing about, okay, what is Ricky Starks doing at NXT? Why is he there? And why, like, people start picking up. They never said his name. So he's got the buzz. 2, he got the promo down. And when I say the half comes because if you start to see people in the audience do this, he's going to be fine. He's going to push a narrative. And us wrestling fans, if you get us to do something, then you'll be over.
I'm not buying it, honestly. I think that's a little phony.
Yeah, that's his pose. Yeah, I feel like it's the Fandango, how he was posing for the his silhouette. But if he gets people to buy in, he'll be fine. I think that he's in a perfect spot because you're building up your top players in NXT. You're building up with the top looks like, because we did it on Raw, we did it on SmackDown. You're saying who can be rotated in or out. You're distracting Moose and Oba right now because you want to focus on, okay, let me show you what this guy can do by showing you these are the guys that you know what they can do. That's why he's in that mix right now. I think it's going to be a good thing. I think we see 3 PLEs in, him being a headliner for it, or him being on the cover.
Really? So on the record, you're giving him 3 PLEs minimum, and minimum. At that point, he hit that point where he's like, okay, he's taking his place as an established player in NXT, that he can be at the top of the card and potentially main event a NXT show. That's what you're saying on the record.
Yeah, and the reason I'm giving him 3 because we know we can't do the same thing we did with Ethan because that was a unique situation, and Ethan already called it out. Oh, let me guess, your first match, and it was like, okay, so they got that out of the way to say, oh, you jump from AEW, you get a title shot. No,
Right.
but I think what they're going to make him do is earn certain spots so we know who we have, and it's a thing where you got to really not necessarily reintroduce, but you got to let people know why we're vested in him. And
Bingo.
remember, NWA did that with him. The problem is nobody saw it.
Nobody watched
Nobody
NWA on
knew what.
YouTube.
Yeah, nobody.
That was
You know,
paywall days.
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
and nobody. He was the when they reactivated the television championship. He was the person that they strapped the rocket to, but nobody saw it. In
Mhm.
AEW, I think the Pillars is dead, but Shawn Michaels is going to show Tony Khan how to do a Pillars for a brand, and
Mm-mm.
he's
Without
going to be one
telling
of
you?
them. Yeah,
Without
because
telling you.
he's already building it. He's building it with the women's division. We can clearly see that. But
Good
he's
Lord.
definitely Javon. I'm just going to say Javon Evans, Ethan
He's
Page,
19.
Wesley. Think about it. And you're building these pillars, and I'm not talking, of course, a Trick Williams in there, but you're building the pillars that can always be rotated because when they left, Ilinoff left, Ilinoff, Carmelo, and Braun Breaker left. It left Trick by itself.
Yep.
So they had
No
to
dance
build other
partners.
people. Yeah,
Yep.
they had to build, and they built it to the point that, okay, Trick is over there building up another star right now.
Yeah.
He's literally in
Yep.
a feud that you're focused on, and not to mention, Rich Holland's still lurking. As much as we don't like to talk about him, he's still
Sure.
lurking. So Triple H's influence is showing that, hey, you got to have people at any moment. Still got Lexus King and Sean Spears. You still got all these people around that you're like, at any time can be inserted, and that's why I think he's in the best spot. Because last thing I'm gonna say, Ethan Page is the villain that we need,
hmm
but Ricky Starks is going to be the face that you want.
Okay. All right. Now, that all
I'm
could
sorry,
potentially
Saints. I said Starks again.
look at you. See, you just like the rest of join the club, buddy. All that could potentially be true because as
Wait a
much as
minute,
we call
Realness.
the third brand.
Realness, breaking news. Look who's back.
Oh yeah, it's Dylan. What's up, buddy?
He's back. He must
Back from his vacation.
Oh yeah, man.
He's on his vacation. That's all. It's we understand the purpose of developing new talent, new start, and sometimes that just takes time. So the influx of talent like Ricky Saints, and the Ethan Pages, and I'm sure there's probably a good amount on their way. It's necessary, but like you said, it has made NXT like, hey, this is must-see TV. This is a destiny. People are excited to be a part of it versus all right, I got to go through developmental to get to the main roster. Especially in these key times of the year where it's like, okay, cool. We're in this random gap. We got about 2 weeks in between Elimination Chamber, and then we got to get to WrestleMania. So there's nothing really going on. And all of a sudden, NXT just starts swinging for the fences. You know what I mean? And then and now you can bring so much exposure and time to it because you have CW, you have the way you do your social media, the way you do your recaps as far as YouTube is concerned. It's like, wait a minute. This is a juggernaut of professional wrestling that we have not seen before. But speaking of being a juggernaut of professional wrestling, so not only do we have reality shows, not only do we have independent superstars that are, I don't know if they even signed a contracts on the indies still representing WWE. Not only do we have NIL next in line college athletes waiting at the front door, we have a partnership with TNA, and TNA people are literally calling this like I think TNA is about to be the number 2 brand right now. It was given to AEW out of default because of their financial ability to go to the mainstream. They had a really good TV deal. They have great production. They got a huge influx of talent, and Tony Khan has no problem spending his dad's money. But when you're looking at the landscape of pro wrestling in general, it seems like people are kind of starting to look to go to TNA first before an AEW now. One, for a number of reasons, maybe because that WWE is probably running the ship right? You recognize that WWE may be kind of pulling some strings and they might be running things very similar to WWE, and that's a place you think you want to go back to. We all know when Trinity Fatu decided to go to TNA Wrestling, you know, she was an Impact for 2 cents. Everybody knows if you want to go back to WWE, you don't go to AEW. You either go to Japan or you go to TNA, right? When Dolph Ziggler requested his release, he didn't go to AEW. Where did he go? He went to TNA Wrestling. When John Bradshaw Layfield decided he wanted to get back out there, where did he show up with his outlaw jacket and hat? He showed up in TNA. There's a lot of suspicious activity going on when it comes to that. And all of a sudden, when TNA Plus comes out, oh, there's a new streaming service. And who are they in partner with? Endeavor. Endeavor is what? The parent company to TKO Sports, which is WWE and UFC. More suspicious behavior. And all of a sudden now they have it. Interesting, isn't it? All of a sudden they have a working partnership now. Working partnership. So now you're starting to see NXT talent on TNA. You're starting to see TNA talent show up on WWE. You see the director of authority over there is Santino Marella, a former WWE guy. You're watching all the TNA originals leave. You got Jeremy Borash working in developmental with Triple H. There's a lot going on when it comes to TNA. All of TNA's original big-time stars are now agents in WWE. Bobby Roode, Abyss, P.D. Williams. I don't know about you good brothers, but I'm starting to get a tad bit suspicious. Is this really a partnership, or are we looking at an eventual takeover? Is Endeavor about to buy TNA from Anthem Sports? Are they just in partnership with each other? Is it something that, hey, let's work together where eventually it leads to something else? I don't know. I'm watching a lot of TNA originals leave the company, but I'm watching a lot of former WWE talent and former TNA talent that was once in AEW. All of a sudden, TNA is a destination to be. We have Moose showing up on NXT, going toe-to-toe with Obafemi and Good Brothers. You talk about unpopular opinions. I'm not going to lie to you. Moose looked like he looked good out there. This is the Moose I remember seeing in Ring of Honor. He was straightforward, to the point, no games, no gimmicks. I was like, wait a minute.
So you said he on good behavior after he begged Shawn Michaels for weeks.
And I think that's exactly what you got to characterize it as. He's on his best behavior. Because when I saw Moose, how he carried himself, his promo even, he has a match with Lexus King in TNA Wrestling, not to mention his match with Obafemi on NXT. I'm like, wait a minute. This is the Moose that I think can survive in this era. And you guys also said we need an influx of new talent. Now, TNA, I don't know what their deal is, and I don't know what's going on, but there's a lot of people that just got cut from WWE. I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of them show up in TNA all of a sudden. Did they release people to get them out of their contracts just to put them on a different type of payroll, but are they still running the show? Come on, man. Talk to you.
That
boy.
Sounds like it.
I'm starting to get suspicious about this.
I feel like, remember how I made the comment? He was around for the good and bad, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
We saw a lot of people leave WWE to go to TNA and come right back as soon as that contract was up.
Mhm.
I'm not trying to be funny, but I said the Hardy Boys was going to find a way to NXT, didn't I?
You did.
And you said it, and the Hardy Boys come into a WWE arena, and Jeff
They're
ain't
not
going to
gonna
want to go back.
No.
But what better way to give them the happy medium to say, come to NXT, where you haven't had those belts. You know, that could be the last one in your story of you being the greatest tag team, because they said it, not my words, they said it. I want somebody to be like, oh my God, Brandon said they're the greatest tag team. No, I'm just saying. They said it. But the fact that you have WWE future Hall of Famers wanting to work with that brand, not WWE, but with NXT directly, that tells you something. That might be why they got the belts.
Well, the Hardys are clearly on their best behavior as well, because they didn't leave the great way that when they both left. Matt Hardy kind of left one way and Jeff kind of left one way too. So, you know, they were like, we're the Hardys. We want to be respected and treated like we're a big deal. And then they went to AEW and they was like, yep, we made a mistake.
We messed up.
So now they're in the best behavior. Go back to TNA. TNA welcomes them back in open arms. They're both pillars of TNA, I guess you can say, in different eras of Impact and TNA wrestling. And like you said, they're on their way back to that. I'm nervous because I think Jeff's gonna start feeling some type of way. He's like, I want out of my contract. You know how he gets. But are you excited about this? Like, this is, I'm trying not to be cynical, right? Mm-hmm. I'm trying to be positive, but I'm looking. We've talked about partnerships. We've talked about, look what happened with Jordan Grace. She's had her run. over now. They moved on, and it's like Endeavor made it very clear. And I knew something was up when Scott D'Amore offered about it. He was getting pushback from Anthem Sports, and nobody knew why. And they're like, why is Anthem Sports not, giving? Because he said, look, we got this partnership now. I think we should start to invest. Scott D'Amore wanted to really get TNA back to where it needed to be. Mm-hmm. And for some reason, Anthem Sports was like, no, we're going to hold up.
Nah, you know what they hit him with? What they hit him with?
Go ahead.
You got. Oh yeah. Nah, baby, that's for somebody else. We're gonna keep you right where you at, baby. I don't have my mixer hooked up, so If they,
my phone. Here it goes.
No, baby, that's for somebody else. We're just gonna keep you right where you at right now.
With the straight Dusty.
He gave him the Dusty.
You got my sister saying that now.
Listen to me. It's the world. It's always a time for what we always say. It's always time for wrestling reference.
Yeah.
They gave him the Dusty, and it was like, and Scott D'Amore was like, hey, he's the heart and soul of TNA. He's going to do right by this place. Why wouldn't Anthem Sports? They say, no, we want to stay in the space that we are. We don't want to expand. We're good with what we got, but we need to maintain this. Mm-hmm. So what better way to get in bed with a company that says, hey, look, we need a place for other people to work and get exposure as well. If you feel like your talent wants to leave and come to us, it's okay, because we'll send you new talent. And I'm like, did they do that with the releases? Are they doing that with the NXT talent? What is the nature of this partnership? Because is it really a partnership, or are we looking at a hostile takeover? Are we looking at eventually Anthem Sports goes, hey, why don't you guys just take this? Why wouldn't they? Why wouldn't Endeavor say, hey, look, why don't we just add TNA Wrestling TKO? Stand on your own. It'll be a separate wrestling company, but we'll have a working partnership. So now, once again, WWE acquires another territory on some Vince McMahon type stuff, but he's like a vampire. WWE allows it to stay alive because it needs it to continue to produce blood. Now, it keeps you around. It keeps you around long enough. But yet it keeps you alive at the same time. What is going on right now? We got developmentals that have developmentals. We have reality shows about talent that's trying to get to the developmental space. And now we have this partnership where the freaking Hardys are going to show up on NXT television next week. We have Obafemi, the NXT champion, being challenged by Moose, the X Division champion. Brother Guy and Brother Hugh just did a show about this championship. They interviewed the gentleman that was responsible for customizing this particular championship. And now it's making sense as to why he got this championship in the first place, because apparently he wants to show the WWE brass that he can stand toe-to-toe with Obafemi, because guess what? Whether you guys like it or not, Obafemi needs Moose. That's right. Yeah. I know Unpopular Opinion's already over, but what are you looking at? I don't think
that's an unpopular opinion. Nobody thinks, we can project for Oba, but we know he ain't ready right now. He's still young in the game. He's still got some, he's still wet behind the ears in wrestling.
All right. So let me ask you a question, Brian H. Who's to say those guys shouldn't switch championships? What difference would it make?
Oh gosh, really?
I'm asking you a question. I'm putting you on the spot. That's right. What if that you hand that X Division championship, that orange looking belt, that burnt orange Texas belt, and give it to Obafemi, and you hand Obafemi and hands over that NXT World Champion? You don't think Moose would do a better job right now as NXT champion, as in stage ready right now?
I don't know, because I will admit I don't watch Moose at all. I never liked his look. So instead of getting on the internet complaining about somebody, and this ain't got nothing to do with his issues with the black wrestling community. That ain't none of my business.
With the community.
Well, he's he love him some Tessa Blanchard. Now that right there alone is just like, bro, stay away.
He ain't lying.
My thing with him is just that I didn't like his look. I didn't like Obafemi. I love his look, right?
He has an aura.
Yeah. I never felt that with Moose ever.
Mm-hmm.
I always thought he looked like a football player trying to play wrestler. And sure. I know he had to make the adjustments. But to answer your question, aesthetically, it would look fine, to be honest. It would look like if I don't know nothing about pro wrestling or sports entertainment and I see Moose with that championship, because the first thought was, all biases aside, okay, this looks like a big deal. Oba looks like he got somebody because you aesthetically that's what you want, right? Somebody
Dance
look at you
partners.
face to face.
Yep.
And we look at Obafemi because NXT, the NXT roster is small. Obafemi and Trick Williams do look like super heavyweights, but in reality, they looking right at say Roman Reigns. They're looking up to Damian Priest. They're looking right at Cody Rhodes, Jacob Fatu. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, this will be good for him, and you know, we'll see what he do. This is also, let's see how you play well with others, Moose. You've been asking for this opportunity. You get the opportunities. It's like you ever heard the story about when Daniel Bryan was discovered by Mark Henry, and he thought it was like the worst match he had, and Mark Henry said, "Nah." He said the fact that you went out there and had a great match or did your thing with somebody who wasn't as talented, that's the reason why I'm gonna put my name out there for you.
Wow, brother guy. I don't know, man. Moose looks like you might be ready. You might be ready to switch brands. Are you drinking the Kool-Aid? Brian H is not so just yet. But I've seen Moose over the years. I've seen Moose try different things as far as his character, his gimmick. But I saw a different Moose. I didn't see System Moose. I saw a very serious demeanor. Kevin Nash just slammed. Shawn Michaels behind me. I saw a very serious demeanor of Moose, and I'm like, wait a minute, this might be the version of this character that we need to see. And honestly, I think I see him even coming to NXT and potentially like, all right, Moose is in the past. I'm so and so now. It's just kind of changing his name because, not that many people recognize who he is anyway, but like in like a situation like Ricky Starks where you can change your name, it's not really going to affect people who know who you are. It's not going to be that big of a deal, but when you see this image, when you see Obafemi going toe-to-toe with Moose, does this change your attitude towards him? Nope, he's not buying it.
So here's my biggest problem, because I've watched a lot of TNA with Moose in it. The problem I'm having, WWE is NXT has been very protective of Obafemi. They've kept him in a lot of triple threat matches to show his dominance. They put him in a lot of situations where his dance partner was perfect for him.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen Moose in situations where his dance partner was perfect and it didn't connect. I've seen Moose in situations where you put a mic in his hand and you feel like, well, why did we waste time on that? And I don't
Dang.
know if he's the one to get us, because here's the thing. On paper, Oba has to lose because Moose is more decorated. Moose has the experience. Moose is the one that, on paper, no hands down. Oba, go lick your boots, come back and fight again. You get what I'm saying? Moose
Right.
loses. It's like you lost to this guy on paper. So I don't know if the promo will get us vested. I don't know if the wrestling will make us remember. I'm so nervous about this because I've seen the good, the bad, and the ugly of Moose, but that was in TNA as well. I've seen what WWE has done with Oba, and a lot of people like everybody's clamoring that he's so great because they did the right thing for him. Like his triple threat matches have been the best thing for him to show, okay, look what we got. They didn't
Right.
expose him. They haven't shown his weaknesses. It's only been playing to his strengths. Moose being a veteran, you can't do that because he's a two-time champion, world champion, X Division champion, tag team champion. He's decorated in TNA. You get what I'm saying? Like,
Mhm.
and now you're gonna say, well, he lost to a 2-year person that's North American and NXT champion. You know what I mean? So I'm not trying to downplay it. I hope that I'm wrong and that this match will be a OMG moment. You know what I mean? Like, let's have that, because when his music went out, I didn't watch it live, but when I went back and watched it, the crowd was into it. And even when he did the thing like this, I was
Mhm.
like, oh dang it, he's over. Dang it, we're done. You know what I mean? Like, I hate to say that. I was like, it's happening. But his promo skill, if you go back and watch any of Moose promos, if you seen one, you seen them all. Because it's like
Oof.
when he's talking, it's I am Moose, yes, I am him. This is the greatest. I'm it's never a flow to it. It
You
doesn't
ain't
really
lying.
those things, but you can't really
Mhm.
attach to him and get behind it. Whereas
Sure.
though Oba, he has those catchphrases, boom, boom, boom. But is that Moose's fault because that's what TNA gave him, or is that's
Right.
what he was? You know, I'm trying to give him a fair shot. And yeah, he looked. Moose always looks good, but Moose looks like a different person every time.
That's
And we know
also
what
true.
Oba Fett looks like headbands, shorts, pants. You know, he looks like a different person every time. I hope
Hmm.
that he can figure out who he is for this run. Because remember, we had I won't call him Fat Moose, but he was bigger. He lost all that weight and he looked like
Got
a
real
different
lean.
person again.
Yep.
Yeah, and I
Yep.
think when he lost that, he lost some of him because the heavier Moose to me was a better performer. The lighter one, I feel like he's like, oh, I got to figure this out. Just like when I say about Drew McIntyre, heavier Drew is a much better performer than the lighter Drew.
Hmm.
But I'm I'm just I'm nervous for Oba because and I'm saying it right now. It has to be Moose has to defeat Oba.
Mm. They have successfully drawn us to NXT next week because that's where all eyes will be. I need to see
He
this
has to
matchup.
defeat Lexus King, and him and Moose going to stare down out. He has to defeat as much as we Moose is about to take a. I mean, Oba is about to take a loss. He's going to.
So, do you think this can even last as like a rivalry, or is this like a one-off?
It can
It's
last
a.
as a rival. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No,
Hollywood.
I was just gonna say it's a. I say it'd be a one-off, but it'll be a rivalry later.
Okay.
I think this is a test.
Okay. So this is just the beginning. What about you, brother guy? You think it can be the same way?
This is going to get us to Worlds Collide. Was that that was the NXT pay per view Worlds Collide, right? This is going to get us to a big major pay per view. I think that something's going to happen on one of those titles, and this is going to be the. It's only going to be one title on the line when we get to Worlds Collide. And I'm just saying it's going to build to that because you have to build like, and I know I said Wesley is going to be the one to take the belt off of Oba because I think that's what they were building for. That's why he
Mhm.
kept with that North American title. But now that we introduce this, we got to think about it. Worlds Collide is probably going to come this year, and they got to build to it so we can say, oh, let's revisit it. Even to the point that Oba said he's going to TNA. He said it. So now we're going to have to really pay attention. Okay, what's going on there? Who's to say he's not going to run into somebody there? He can run into a Brian Myers. Brian Myers is going to make Oba look like he is the greatest champion ever.
Right.
Eddie Edwards
Poof.
is going to make him look like the greatest champion ever. You know, and these are
Mm-mm-mm.
members of the system, his faction. He could take them on in a triple threat match or 2-on-1, and they'll make him look like he's the greatest thing. And the reason I'm saying this, you can have a partnership, but you're not going to keep letting your champions keep losing all the time to the other partnership, because that's where AEW went wrong with TNA.
Mhm.
So I think that Moose he has to. He's got to beat Oba. He's going to give Oba that loss because Oba only lost what 3 or 4 matches. What's his record? It's something. It's real low, right?
I don't even know because wrestling promotions don't keep track of wins and losses. Oh wait, one does. Sorry.
And
Oh
they do
boy,
for Gunther's been a champion 80% of his career.
like WCW, he's 709-2 and 0. Well, you asked a question a long time ago, brother guy. You said, what makes this TNA WWE partnership / NXT mutually beneficial? I think it's working. And oof, man, I don't know what's going on. I am suspicious, but the future is bright. They I I have never paid this much to developmental. And I say that term loosely, is because I am more interested in the stars of tomorrow more now than I've ever been. So I think at the end of the day, TNA, NXT have done the right thing. And I think the fact that they can share talent in a way where everybody benefits. So just as TNA loses talent, they can get new talent to come in and vice versa. We are going to see, we are still on the road to WrestleMania. Next stop is Elimination Chamber, and I think NXT has something really, really big planned for WrestleMania as well. So this all could be building up to that point. You know what I mean? And There's a lot of rumors. There's a lot of rumblings going on. And I'm telling you, I just keep hearing stuff between this NXT and TNA partnership, and I can't tell what's going on just yet. But I'm sure it'll come out sooner rather than later. But like I said, Ricky Saints, Obafemi, Moose, TNA Wrestling, Wesley, it's Julia, Stephanie Vaquer, Jordan Grace. What in the world? There's so much going on. Not to mention Miss Parker looking like Sky Hall the other day. It's so much going on in the world of this future developmental territory, whatever you want to call it. We got WWE ID championships. We got Legends and Future Gates. The WWE is making sure that they have secured their place in the history books of associating with the word of professional wrestling. Yep. That being said, man, y'all brothers, y'all knew what y'all was doing, and I agree with everything y'all said. Thank you, Brother Hugh. We got to get ready to get out of here. Yeah, we got to get ready to wrap this up. I think we did our job, gentlemen. I think we analyzed NXT, where it's headed, where it all starts, how we get to this point, and as the road to WrestleMania continues, I think we have to stay tuned. But I'm not gonna lie, they sold me on NXT next week, so I will be there front and center to see what's going on. And I'm telling you, I'm locked into TNA now. All of a sudden, like I want people to go to TNA, and I'm like, wait a minute. Like, since when did TNA get its resurgence? They're selling out arenas now, smaller arenas. They're making money. I'm like, man, it's just, oof, what a strange world. If you'd have told me 5 or 6 years ago TNA was going to rise back up to be the number 2 wrestling promotion in the world behind WWE, I would have said, good luck with that. Here we are. If you want to continue the conversation, please follow us on all our social media platforms at Wrestling Realm. Subscribe to our Patreon, our Twitch, and our YouTube channel at youtube.com/Wrestling Realm. Not to mention, follow Championship Culture on Instagram at Championship Culture _. Don't forget, every Tuesday, 8 p.m., Championship Culture on youtube.com/Wrestling Realm and X. You can catch it there as well. Brothers, we got through this. We figured this out. The future is bright. There's only one thing left for us to do is we got to get out of here. We have to go. It's because we did a lot of things. We did a Black History Month spotlight right into an unpopular opinion, and there was a lot of things said tonight. We got to shut this whole thing down. But come back, join us next week. We'll have some more fun. Shout out to Brother Hugh for making time to spend with us today, even while he's away. So we appreciate you guys. Stay locked in, stay ready, keep your eyes open, dealing with Triple H and gang and all that good jazz. We're gone. We're out of here. Peace. We'll catch you next week.
Houston, we have a problem.
For all exclusive shows and bonus material, subscribe to our Patreon channel at patreon.com/thewrestling_realm. You can watch all of our Wrestling Realm content anytime on youtube.com/thewrestling realm.